What's up everyone, this is David, and in today's DC Talk episode, we're going to talk about what's next for the Persona franchise. I have a lot of ideas, and I have a lot of things that I want to discuss about for this video, and I thought that with the recent release of Persona 5 Royal and the upcoming release of P5 Scramble in the West, and I know no official confirmation yet on the day of recording this video, but just wait and see. I was thinking, what's next for Atlus? What's next for the Persona franchise in general? And this is what I want to discuss for this video. On this day, we know that Atlus is working on a few projects, including Project Refantasy, that we know almost nothing about. There's also the team directed by Kazuyuki Yame, who is working on SMT5. And there's also some people working on the port of Catherine Full Body that is coming to the Switch next July. But for this port in particular, I don't know if Atlus is handling it themselves or not. And of course, there's a lot of other projects that are in the work right now. There is actually a few things that I hope to see from Persona next, so let's get right into it. I'll start with a wish of mine that will probably never come through, but as a fan of the franchise, I have to. I would absolutely adore HD remasters or remake of Persona 1 and 2, Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin, ported to new consoles. They would just need to refresh the graphics and the music a bit and then re-release it as a bundle for the PS4, the Switch if possible, PS5, and I'd be in paradise right there. But the reason why I won't talk about it more in this video is because, let's be honest here, Atlus does not care about Persona before Persona 3 at all, so I don't think that we'll see that ever, unfortunately. Now we're going to talk about something a bit more likely. With the success of Persona 5, it is certain that Atlus is working on anything new for the Persona franchise at this point. Last October, Kazuhisa Wada said in an interview with Dengeki magazine that the Persona team is currently working on a new numbered entry in the franchise, so that can only mean two things in my opinion. Either they're working on a prequel to the original Persona, or most likely they're working on the next installment in the series, Persona 6. I don't think we should expect an announcement soon, honestly, since the tendency for release of the mainline Persona games is long between each game. Here's a quick look at the Japanese releases for the mainline games. And just before I give the information, I just want to tell you guys that I did not include Strange Journey. I know it's a main title in the franchise, but I just want to focus on numbered mainline titles. So Revelations Persona came out in 1996, Persona 2 Innocent Sin came out 3 years later in 1999, Persona 2 Eternal Punishment came out in 2000, a year after. It's a sequel to Innocent Sin, so it's normal that it comes out quicker. Persona 3 came out in 2006, so 6 years later, but they did a major overhaul for the franchise at this point, so that explains the delay. Then 2 years later, we got Persona 4, which is interesting since it only came out 2 years after P3. And then we got the big gap for Persona 5 that came out in 2016 with various delays in the way. So the gap between the games, as you can see, is varied. So I'm expecting a gap like Persona 4 to 5, but I'd say a bit sooner would be my bet. And that is because the popularity of the franchise really spiked with P5, and Atlus will definitely want to capitalize on that, I'm certain. The most important thing with Persona 6 or the next installment in the series is that Atlus must release SMT5 beforehand. And I'm serious here. I honestly feel like they will kill the chances of SMT5 to succeed if they release a new Persona before. Plus, it would create a massive outrage in the Megadon community, and Atlus needs to avoid that for sure. And my personal preferences, I'm really hyped for SMT5, so I really want that game ASAP. But Atlus needs to take the time to make a great game. Something that I feel Atlus should be working on is a Persona 3 remake. I don't know if it's fair to hope for this one, but here's why I think it would be a good idea and why I think eventually Atlus might consider it. I replayed Persona 3 last year, I bought and downloaded Persona 3 FES on my PS3, and after roughly 10 hours of gameplay, I had to put it down. The fact that you can't control any party members other than the main character really sucks, and it gets old really quickly. What I did is that I brought my PSP out of the closet, and then I was able to play 100 hours of Persona 3 Portable. On this version, you don't have access to the additional story of FES, unfortunately, and you don't have access to all the animated cutscenes and the animations and all of that. It's more of a point-and-click style of game, but the major addition to this game is that you can control the whole party, which is awesome. The characters in Persona 3 are really great, especially the main cast. They're like my favorite cast of the whole franchise, and I really do think that Atlus has a major hit in their hands with Persona 3, and I feel like they could take advantage of the spike in popularity of their franchise and do a complete remake. If Atlus were to re-release the game in full HD with the additional FES content, the ability to control your whole party, and I also think a Tartarus overhaul would be necessary. Just add a few little things would be cool. Change the graphics, change the environment a bit just to make it feel like you're not going through the same thing on like 300 floors or so. I really do feel like that would do extremely well. I don't know if Atlus is even considering this idea, but I see a lot of Persona fans all over the internet, all over YouTube talking about it, and I also think that Persona 3 did not age as well as other games in the current market. So it would be awesome if they wanted to remake it. Again, I don't know if it's really fair to expect that, but I would really like that. Another thing like I feel Atlus might be working on is more Persona 5 content. As mentioned previously, Persona 5 did really well for Atlus, and it would be normal for them to want to capitalize on that, especially since Atlus is constantly milking P5 and Joker any way possible. I mean, they released Persona 5 Vanilla, they released Persona 5 Royale, P5 Dancing, P5 Scramble, and they're putting Joker in every single game as possible. They're putting Joker in Catherine Full Body, they put him in Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE, and they're putting him in other titles that they don't even own, such as Phantasy Star Online 2, freaking Sonic Forces, there's a costume for Joker, and of course Smash Ultimate. If Atlus releases another spin-off of Persona 5, I feel like Persona 5 Arena would be the most likely, but I honestly feel like they won't do it. I think that they're done with Persona 5 at this point, which is not a bad thing. The game's amazing, but I think it's enough. Something that I want to touch on before we end this video is the upcoming Game Plus Expo 2020. I made a video when the Expo was first announced about what I think we will saw for Atlus in general, so I advise you guys, if you're interested, to go check out this video so you can hear more of my thoughts about Atlus. But I wanted to quickly give my predictions as far as Persona goes in this video for some of you that might have missed it. I'm certain that we will get a release date for Persona 5 Scramble coming to the West. I don't know when we will get it, but my bet is beginning of 2021. Like around February would be likely in my opinion. But I also heard a lot of fans and a lot of people like me that are really watching Atlus close by as far as news goes, and they're saying probably holiday 2020, and honestly, I feel like it's likely as well, since if we look at Atlus localization track record, we can see that it fits in their time schedule. But I was thinking 2021 because of COVID-19 and all that stuff happening in the world right now. And I honestly, guys, I don't think that we will hear anything major about Persona except for P5S. So take every leak that you see on the internet with a grain of salt, guys. Honestly, there's been leaks for ridiculous stuff for Atlus and Persona on the internet. I've seen stuff on 4chan, Reddit, and anything that you can, any social media that you can name, I've seen stuff, and some of them are ridiculous. I've seen stuff like Atlus will announce Persona 1 and 2 remakes and Persona 6, and they'll show gameplay, all of that on the same conference. Objection! And I think it's completely out of the blue, so just keep your expectations low, and the best thing that could happen is you'd be surprised. But my expectations, I expect P5S for the West. That's all. I don't expect anything else. So that's it for this video, guys. Obviously, Atlus has other projects in mind than Persona, but I thought it was still fun to think about what's next for the Persona franchise. If you liked the video, if you want to stay up to date on anything Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, or Atlus, don't hesitate to click the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in another video. Thank you for watching.